Hey folks, welcome to ADSR. I'm Stephen Ellestad. Make sure you subscribe to the ADSR YouTube channel and follow on social media. Today I wanted to share a new Kontakt instrument I've recently come across. And it's not really a first look, it's actually been around a while. So that instrument is Solid State Symphony by Indiginus Software. And it's a virtual orchestra made of samples that are modeled from a whole range of classic synths and hardware using classic synth waveforms. And it's got a really cool sound. I mean, it doesn't sound like a sampled orchestra. It sounds very rich and it sounds really good, and it's really fun to play. The cool thing about it is we have not just our orchestra, but we have all these elements that we can use. We can bring in padscapes. All kinds of options there. So really kind of deep naturalistic stuff, some really interesting, more eclectic stuff. And just all kinds of stuff. We got a ton of cool presets we can work with from a string orchestra, octave strings. This one is the Shire preset. And just all kinds of fun stuff. The velocity orchestra takes full advantage of different velocity strikes. To get all kinds of really cool things happening. We got this nice visual representation. And as I change my velocity, we can really see what's happening. Etc. So there's real fun stuff. We can get really big and epic stuff. And we can look at any of these by just coming over, selecting it. We could bring in the gated pad and maybe turn off the orchestra. Pad here. And choose a different one for this. So there's a lot of really fun things that we can explore here. And on the gated pad, we have our sequencer, how many steps, resolution, and the gate depth. We can apply a filter there. Then we also have a really cool pitch modulation controls. We can create fun soundscapes to work with. We can bring in percussion, we can bring in bass, bring in everything. Why not? We've got a number of different snapshots that are available to us. And if you like to work with snapshots, you can come in from there inside of the Kontakt browser, or you can open it up from presets as NKI files. And just some really fun kind of presets that have some key mappings, etc. And the key mappings reflect things like our chords. And if we come over into, get rid of our elements here, we can see here, we can choose to turn chords on and off. We see how that affects the key mappings. But here now we have an octave, of major chords, and then of minors. And we can instead bring in 2 octaves. And so we can actually do more chordal based stuff. We can do all kinds of really fun stuff if we want to bring up our strings an octave to get some separation. Really just, play around and ideas tend to start pouring out. When we look at the mixing side, we have our volumes. We can turn any particular section on and off to create our own preset orchestra. And so we have our strings, we have our marcato and staccato, our trumpets, our trombones, and all kinds of different articulations of those. So we can create these blends, timpani, cymbals, xylophone, etc. And these are all feeding into different subgroups to actually let us balance the orchestra as we want. And then over here, we can set our velocity switching. So what happens at different velocities? Do we want to only bring in, marcato at this level, or only have percussion happen at a certain point? And then how strictly does it crossfade? Here's our mappings for our keys. If we want to transpose a particular range, bring up our horns in an octave, for example. It's really quite simple. And a variety of effects. And all of these then feeding into either our orchestral layers or our synth layers. So we have padscapes and gated pads and our pitch mods, etc. So a lot of really fun ways you can shape the sound. This is a Solid State Symphony by Indiginus Software. Really worth checking out. It also ships with Solid State Strings, which is just a strings-based version. And we have presets for both the K4 and the current version right here. It also ships with Q, and Q is the lighter sampled version of Solid State Symphony. And so this was designed to be a super low CPU head. I'll actually use this to kind of sketch out ideas, and then I'll come in and maybe bring in Solid State and even some others, like say complete session strings or something, to layer it up. But we can have our orchestra 1, 2, or 3, just strings. We can go staccato, and we can bring in chords. So really lightweight. Just to kind of sketch ideas and get some things going. So there you go, Solid State Symphony from Indiginus Software. I think it's really worth checking out if you're looking for something to add some layers, add some textures. It's not a traditional sample library, but it layers beautifully with them. It gives you a ton of cool options to work with. So check it out. I'm Stephen Ellestad for ADSR. Make sure you subscribe to the ADSR YouTube channel, follow on social media, and we'll see you next time. Take care.